raising pertinent questions, on the culture of whistleblowing in South Africa. Did Babita die in vain? Those are some of the questions that are being asked. What ought to be done to give more protection to those who speak truth to power, challenging corruption, challenging the status quo? Let's speak now to whistleblower activist Adila Chowan, who joins us now on the line and has in the past herself blown the whistle. Adila, thank you very much, for speaking to us this morning. It's a very sad day, and you can tell on the faces of the Deokaran family that 4 years later, they're still in grief. The country, they say, never protected them. And 4 years since she was assassinated, has anything changed? In terms of whistleblowers feeling any safer to coming forward and blowing the whistle on possibly millions that are being siphoned wherever?
Good morning. To put it into context, we have seen further whistleblowers killed, and one of them was Pamela Mabini. Then we've seen the city of Ekurhuleni's forensic audit head, Mpho Mafole, murdered. So it's unfortunate that there has not been enough steps taken to actually protect whistleblowers. And, Babita Deokaran and these subsequent whistleblowers have paid the ultimate price with their lives. And, what it's actually signaling to the market, when whistleblowers are harmed and killed without consequences for the perpetrators, the message is that personal risk outweighs the benefit. It implies that the system cannot or will not protect who exposes wrongdoing.
Yeah, legislatively, what needs to be done? Clearly, there needs to be something stronger that speaks to protecting people who come forward. You've already spoken about, the killing of whistleblowers, Pamela Mabini, as well as a forensic auditor, Mpho Mafole. And this happened after Deokaran had been killed. These two were also people coming forward, with information that would have otherwise remained buried if they did not come to the fore. What needs to happen legislatively to send a message that if you stand up as a good citizen and say something is wrong, you don't end up losing your life and your family having to pay the consequences of that, like the Deokaran family, for the rest of their lives?
Well, I think if you take the history of what has transpired, it actually creates the perception there's no accountability, there's no support mechanism in place. It signals that institutions meant to provide oversights have failed or part of the problem. This breeds public distrust and in the state, in the media, in corporate leadership as a whole. A lot of the active citizen movement has been lobbying for changes in the legislation, an independent body where whistleblowers can blow the whistle without fear of their identity being exposed. And unfortunately, those wheels have not been turning as fast as one would have expected.
And that's unfortunate because it also signals, to those who are involved in these kinds of atrocities that they can continue and simply eliminate whoever is the problem that is standing in your way of continuing to loot.
You are correct in that. The lack of the justice reinforces the idea that those who are in power are actually untouchable and that impunity reigns. It signals that exposing misconduct doesn't lead to reform. It leads to punishment for the whistleblowers while the wrongdoers go unchecked. And that is what we've seen with Babita Deokaran's case. The person that pulled the trigger, those are the ones in prison, but the masterminds remain at large.
And you spoke about, those cracks within the justice system. That's one of the issues that the Deokaran family has been speaking about since the assassination. They want the whistleblowers to, eventually, spend time behind bars. But the wheels of justice certainly seem to be turning very slow, while there seems to be a paper trail, even exposed by journalists like Jeff Wicks, who have written about, the paper trail. It kind of gives you an idea or gives the authorities an idea of where to start looking, but it clearly doesn't seem easy enough to follow that.
No, you're 100% correct, because we seem to get a lot of lip service as opposed to actually getting decisive action. And, we have the Hawks, the NPA that is probing, it's an ongoing investigation, whereas there are people that are at large. And even though there is sufficient evidence, our justice system, the wheels turns very slowly.
Adila, thank you very much indeed. We always appreciate your insights. We always speak to you when there are these incidents, have taken place today. Of course, the commemoration or remembrance of Babita Deokaran, that taking place outside the complex where she was gunned down. Adila, thank you very much once again. We always appreciate your time here on SABC News.